What is going on to all my goblins, elves, orcs, and everything in between out there? It is your boy, Mensooks. Back out with another review. And today, we have the second to last final movie review of the Lord of the Rings Hobbit franchise, that being the animated version of Return of the King. But before we get into the actual beginning of the video, what's up, guys? If you guys missed my previous reviews, be sure to check them out if you're interested. They are on a playlist on my YouTube channel. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because number one, it's absolutely free. Number two, also maybe help with the YouTube algorithm, and I recommend the video to more people, and maybe they could join. And do feel free to comment your thoughts on the animated version of Return of the King down below. But before we get, but with that being said, guys, let's get right into, let's give a quick plot synopsis, shall we? So transition and choose, A hobbit faces the powers of darkness as he tries to destroy the Ring of Doom, based on J.R.R. Tolkien's novel. Alright, so going into this one, I was hesitant yet again, because I wasn't too big of a fan of the original 1978, I believe, 1978 Hobbit. I wasn't really a big fan of that. And I was very conflicted on the animated Lord of the Rings movie as well. So, going into this one, I basically had no hope. So, and coming out of it, let's just see what I think of it. So, starting off with the good, we always start off with the good here for our toxic movie reviews. And the soundtrack. I can't deny, I think all three of these movies have really good soundtracks, especially for the time. I think there is one particular song in here that involves, like, whipping the orcs or whatever, that I kept on bopping my head to, and I thought it was a bop. And I said in my review this,
it's a song that involves, like, kind of whipping orcs and stuff, and it felt very reminiscent of the older Aladdin songs back in the day that got cut from the movie because they were a little too rough.
So yeah, I overall liked that song, and there were also a couple other songs in there too that I was bopping my head to, and I thought were quite good as well. Two more things. One more thing in the good. I liked the lava fight at the end of the movie. So it does this basically the same exact things as the live action Return of the King, and I enjoyed that fight at the end as well. Not as much as the live action Return of the King, but for an animated movie, it's still a pretty solid fight. Now we move on to the mixed aspects of the film, and this is just genuinely, well, we'll get to that last, because that's not really a mixed aspect, it's just a question. So the first mixed I have is the voice acting. I'm very conflicted about the voice acting in here. So I think all the voicing acting for the most part is quite decent in here, but the guy that the decision they have with Sam in here is they have him, like, be an old type character and Frodo be a lot younger. And I thought that wasn't impactful, because in the live action movies you have them both as friends. This one I didn't really connect with their friendship that much, because he was a lot older than Frodo was, and he's also voiced by a lot older actor. So I just found myself being very confused at that. Another thing in here as well, what was the thing? There was another thing that I just thought of on the top of my head. The animation. I think the animation is definitely better than the animated Hobbit movie, but it's not as good as the animated Lord of the Rings movie. So that's why it goes into the mixed aspect. And then the final mixed aspect I have in here, and it's just something to talk about because I'm very confused about this. So, this is obviously a direct sequel to the animated Hobbit movie. But this is also,
or at least appeared to me as a sequel to the animated Lord of the Rings movie, while not having the same animation as that. because the hobbits look different in that, and the hobbits look like the hobbits from the animated Hobbit movie, but the humans look like they're from the animated Lord of the Rings movie.
So yeah, that's just a thing to talk about, because I don't know if this is a sequel to the animated Lord of the Rings movie or not. Because in the animated Lord of the Rings movie, you have people that are like in classic animation form, that are like the Disney movie characters around that time. They look like that. But then also you have the Hobbits, which look like the same from the Hobbits 1978 animated movie, and they don't look like they do in the animated Lord of the Rings movie. So did this basically just skip two chapters in this whole entire animated franchise, or is it just doing its own thing? Or, well, it's not doing its own thing, because it is a Hobbit sequel. It's just not. I'm very confused as to if it is an animated Lord of the Rings sequel or not, and we're just totally ignoring the middle chapter of this whole entire overarching story. That is the mix done. Now let's unfortunately move on to the bad, and my one bad is it's just everything in here. I would say overall I like this movie, but overall everything is just done way better in Return of the King in live action form. I mean, from
the performances to the action sequences to the characters, nothing tops the live action movie from this. And even,
I mean, especially that ending sequence of the movie, man. This basically ends ends the same exact way as the live action movie. But in the live action movie, you had emotion in it, and it made you tear up as well. In here, they basically just, all I'll say is, so I don't spoil the ending for the other movie, is they just basically go, oh, okay, well, I already spoiled the Return of the King ending, so anyways, I'll talk about it here. When Frodo leaves off with Bilbo, Gandalf, and everyone on that ship too, in the live action one, it is emotional. It makes a couple of us teary-eyed in that. However, in this, they basically just say, okay, bye, Frodo. They have no emotion! None at all, and it was just like, you couldn't have made the animated characters cry and the animated voice actors do that. It's just, it was so more better done in the live action movie than this one. But with that being said, that's my only bad I have. Now let's bring out the toxic meter, and I still like this movie. I'd give it a B-.
and a toxic goodness.
But I would say definitely spoilers for the ranking on Sunday. This is probably my favorite out of the animated movies. However, I still don't think it will be too high up in the ranking of all these. So, but I appreciate everyone that has joined me on this journey of this Lord of the Rings / Hobbit review series. Stay tuned for tomorrow, because it will be the final review in this review series for the newest film, Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, which I have already seen. And Sunday, we will be ranking every single one of these movies, so also stay tuned for that. But with that being said, guys, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace.